For the grace of God, which bringeth salvation, has appeared to all men, teaching us that denying worldliness, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world. Titus chapter 2, verse 11 to 12. Yeah, the grace of God, which bringeth salvation, has appeared to all men. And that is the grace that was brought by the death and resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ. He went through a lot to give us this grace. To make this grace available to us. He was crucified. He suffered. He was scourged to make this salvation available to us. And through this, we have the grace of God. This is the power of God with us to be able to do things which ordinarily we couldn't do in our own minds and in our own strength. Now, that grace of God is not a cheap grace. It's a costly grace. It's not cheap at all. It came with tears. It came with blood. And because of this, we shouldn't live recklessly in this world. You shouldn't be saved and still be living in sin and claiming that you have the grace of God available to you. All right? The grace of God is not to be toyed with. It is not cheap. It wasn't gotten on a platter of gold. You are enjoying it on a platter of gold, but the one who released it to you suffers so much to be able to release this grace to you. And so you mustn't make a mess of it. A pastor will sleep around and then tell the victims that his grace covers them. They tell you once born again, forever born again. That is not the grace of God. You are just deceiving your own self. All right? There is nothing like that. You must always check to see how you're doing spiritually. All right? You shouldn't give room for sin and say you're enjoying grace. There is nothing like that. You will have God to contend with at the end of it all. There is nothing like grace to commit sin. Grace, you claim to be born again, you're still drinking. You claim to be born again, you're still going after women, still going after men. You claim to be born again, you're still fraudulent. And you say you're enjoying grace. That is a lie from the pit of hell. That is cheap grace. That is not the grace Jesus Christ released after his death and resurrection. After all he labored and suffered for. That grace is costly. It is a costly grace, and you must not trample it under your feet. All right? It's a costly grace. It is not grace that is cheap. All right? So you don't mess up yourself and claim to enjoy grace. That is not the grace of God. Do the right thing. Walk right. Live right. Live holy. That is the grace of God. That is the grace that brings salvation to all men. That is the grace that has made salvation available to you. The grace to live holy. The grace to live godly. The grace to live righteously in this world. Somebody said that the grace of God is God's riches at Christ's expense. You got it at the expense of Christ's suffering, his crucifixion, his death, and resurrection. So it's not something to be toyed with. It's not something you joke about with. It's not something you commit secret sin with. You mess up with a lady and then you go straight to the altar to minister. In your church, anything goes. As a young girl, you claim to be a Christian, a chorister in the church, but you sleep around. As a young man, you claim to be a worker in the church, and you are fraudulent, and you are clubbing, and you are doing all sorts, saying that the grace of God covers you. My dear, the grace of God does not cover you. It is not the grace of God that is covering you. That is cheap grace. That is not the grace of God. The grace of God is costly. Very, very costly. It demands consecration. It demands holy living. It demands consecration. It demands holy living. It is not cheap grace. It is costly grace. So you will do well today to turn a new leaf. And God will help you. The Lord bless you.